I think we're on and live. Good morning. Happy March. Welcome to Tarot Time. As always, a lot to talk about, but things have been really, really intense lately. So we're going to do our meditation card for the week, our forecast. I've got other divination tools. And we're going to finish up by doing an energy transmission with the master teachers, as we always do, and group prayers to really inject peace into the collective. We really need that now. So, firstly, it's Sunday morning. Are we coffee, tea, or caffeine free? I'm on my second cup of tea. I just did not sleep last night, so if I stutter a lot, I apologize. I think with all this energy going on, it's just been really, really intense. So let me just say a few quick hellos, and then we're gonna get. But yeah, Mercury retrograde. Yep, I'm easy like Sunday morning. Hi, Laura. Decaf coffee. Yeah, I need the caffeine. I mean, probably should have just had coffee, but I'm drinking tea. Mercury retrograde. Yep. Easy like Sunday morning, right? Uh, and hi, Misha. Hi, Truth Wave. Hi, Victor. Hi. And Scotty Boy's in. All right. So I'm glad you guys have been having a good. Hi, Kathleen and Beverly. Welcome, and Chris and Victor and Scotty and Victor again. Hi, Karen. And oh my. Hi, Vaughn, Claire. Or I'm just saying hello because it's nice, but also that gives me a minute to let the live people get notifications. So, hi, Brooke. Thank you. Thanks for the info, by the way. Hello, Michael. You're number one today. Hello, Nathan. All right, and if I miss anybody, I apologize. But hi, Dion and Mary. I love you all the same, even if I miss somebody. All right, so I didn't really get a chance to look at what's going on in the ephemeris. Like I said, it's been. I won't bore you with the details, but we know that the blood moon is coming. We feel the energy. We know that uh, that it's very intense, and yeah, with these lunar eclipses, I mean, it's a blood moon because it's not really like the moon shadow. The moon isn't traveling directly in the center of the Earth's shadow. It's more on the side. So what you'll find is if you're up, I mean, here it's going to be like pre-dawn. You'll find that one side of the moon's probably going to be slightly lighter than the other side with these types of eclipses. It's got that kind of blood red quality. But a full moon is both it's an exact alignment, or an exact opposition because it's a full moon to the sun, but also it's in the same declination. That's why it's an eclipse. So when the full moon and new moons align with the lunar nodes, that's basically when the moon crosses the elliptical plane of the planet. Then we have our eclipse season, and things tend to intensify. Boy, this is living up to its reputation. Then we just had Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, right on the world axis. Aries is Mars. That can be war, that can be energy, that can be aggression. We're seeing that Uranus is very active, although it's not really war. It's about sudden change. It's evolution and revolution. Plus, we're at the beginning of the descending phase of solar cycle 25, and history shows quite clearly now not every single time. You have to look at the patterns over time that this is the time when a lot of wars, a lot of revolutions break out during the maximum, especially later in solar max into the early descending phase. That's also when the Earth is loaded with energy, the atmosphere is loaded with energy, and we're seeing a lot of earthquakes starting to come up again, more volcanoes coming up, all part of the forecast, all part of what we predicted. And now we have some more sunspots that are going to rotate into view. So, and given the 3-3 alignment with the sun and the moon, which is a gravitational and electromagnetic generator of sorts. More, the electromagnetic part, the magnetism is a lot stronger than the gravitational. And that just adds energy. Anything that's close to the brink is going to happen, whether that's in the collective consciousness with the aggression or if it's in the Earth. So that's basically it. I just wanted to peek. I know there's something happening this week. Doesn't something go direct this week, or is it Uranus that's stationing now? When planets station, they're even stronger. So Mars, Uranus already went direct. So that's fine. It's Jupiter. That's the 10th. That's next week. But there's still some choice aspects. So you know what? Um, yeah, a lot going on, and as we go on, maybe more information will come out. There's a lot of, shall we say, innuendos to what's going on in the Middle East now, as we start to see more countries get in on the act. Start to see Israel and the U.S. and we have the stuff with the Epstein files and more information coming out. And though there's no proof, there's certainly allegations or there's trends that could suggest certain people and certain players are involved with this, and that would include the U.S. president. Like, again, nothing's proven, so innocent until proven otherwise. But there's a lot of correlation, we'll say, with what's been released and what's known with the Epstein files, and not just him, and Democrats too, but other high-level U.S. officials. And then there is more coming out with a potential or an alleged Israel and Epstein link, and the globalist link with all of that. And the next couple of days, I'm going to dig deeper into this. And I'm planning on Tuesday to have a psychic forecast video on the trends of the Iran war. And we'll see if anything comes up today in tarot time, but I'm going to do a whole video on that. So I'll spend a little bit of time like remote viewing or channeling, and also researching some of the moving parts of this, because mainstream media is saying one thing, left wing people are saying one thing, right wing are saying another. As usual, it's a division. Nobody's agreeing, and so we have to work with spirit. And as always, stay in the heart. The more stressful it gets out there, the more we need to be in our heart, because that's the largest and strongest electromagnetic generator in the body. It's a vibration of pure love, pure peace. And when you're in the heart, then all this stress has a way of circumventing you. You're in the eye of the storm. It's not that you're burying your head in the sand or anything. You're still in it, but you're in the eye, the calm part of it. And from there, then we can make a difference, right? So what are you guys saying? And then we're going to dive into some tarot. Hello, Mary. You're first up on the comment shares. The last prez, the one before him, and the one before him. Let's start looking at the reality of what the elites are doing. Thank you. If we can get beyond like the president, who's I believe is chosen. I mean, he is elected, or she, if we ever get a female president. They are elected, but it's heavily manipulated through programming as well as through voter manipulation. So since the Bush, the W. Bush, I mean, it's probably been going on well before that, but I haven't seen a fair election since then. So that's going back, 20, 25, 26 years or so. That's my opinion, but in any event, that's what we get. Okay, back to muffins. Good deal. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Kathleen. Happy Purim. Yes, thank you for that, for reminding us of that. Very good. So there's some cool things that are happening. There's been some Josh sightings apparently. I haven't seen him yet, but there's been some Josh sightings. Epstein files contains an email about the world. I saw that little tidbit, that goodie, 4 years ahead of time. Journey to Truth. That's Tyler and Lily Nova's Tyler's podcast. And I believe it. Let me get back to that for a second, because there's some very cryptic things that Bill Gates had said around that time, alluding to future pandemics and stuff like that. And there was SARS A, right? There's SARS 1. There's the Middle Eastern one, MERS, and vaccines don't just get prepared in 11 months. That just doesn't happen. So connecting the dots again. This is just my educated opinion as well as my intuition. Connecting the dots. This has had to have been prepared before the pandemic started. Yeah, that's my take anyway. So what else? There's Josh from Josh's Universe, and you guys with YouTube channels, you know the drill. Let us know who you are, what you do, and maybe some people in this community, because we're all a community together. I know that I'm not on your guys' live feeds a whole lot these days, and pretty darn busy. But we're still part of the same extended community, and we're of love and light. We all want the same thing, right? To help us to awaken. As I do this work with you, it helps me to ascend also. And what I share hopefully is helping you in your ascension journey. And it's all good. So good dawning to Josh. So he does a lot of work. So does Victor on Truth Wave. And so does Laura on Let Spirit Guide. And anybody else that wants to post, all world leaders are suspect. I would agree with that. Hello, Pink Warrior. And thank you. All right, let's do some tarot work. It is tarot time. Cranberry art. I got tea. Hello, Peggy. Hello from South Carolina, Kathleen. All right, so we'll do a meditation card to start. So I have meditation. We do a 3-card spread. I'm thinking about last week because I think in some way, shape, or form, a lot of this came out. In fact, I remember very distinctly doing my stuff and saying, for some reason, I'm feeling Mexico. Something's going on in Mexico. Something's going to happen in Mexico. Unbeknownst to me, because it wasn't on the news yet, it was 11 a.m. that morning. That's when the raid in, oh God, what's his name? El Mencho. That's when he was captured. That was happening like right before or during tarot time. And then we did the psychic forecast. It's fun, not funny, but it's interesting because I filmed that today's Sunday, right? So I filmed that on Friday. And basically it's saying, it looks like the Iran war, U.S.-Iran war is going to happen. Let's send some prayers. Let's prove the psychic wrong. I think by mid-month, the next day, it happened the next day, not mid-month. The next day it broke out. So here we are. And here we are. So let's do our meditation card because, while all the stress is going on out there, we, again, need to be in our heart to stay in our power. Be aware, not scared, right? Somebody commented on a video this morning about, I can't believe that you listen to mainstream news. And I don't really listen to mainstream news. I don't know where that person got that idea. But at the same time, I want to see what they're saying. I don't believe it, but so I'll check the headlines. But the problem today is virtually all the news outlets are corrupt. I mean, there are exceptions. There are outliers. We know about mainstream news, right? We know about that here. I don't think you'd be following the Medium channel if you weren't aware of that. But any news outlet or podcast or any of that has even a leaning towards right or left wing is probably corrupt also. And it's hard to find, a true nonpartisan, open to all possibilities. I mean, they're out there. So, it's good to be aware of that. And again, just because somebody's right or left wing, it doesn't necessarily mean they're trying to program you, but it's something you just have to be aware of, I think, because it's pretty prevalent. And it goes both ways. And one side will accuse the other of being programmed. And you know what? Guess what? We're all programmed. I'm programmed too. It's just that I've been, for the last 40 plus years, I've been working on deprogramming. And I think I'm somewhere between 80, 95% there, but not 100%. So it's a process, right? And the more we can be present and be the observers, so meditation practice, heart, brain coherence, and related practices, the more we can appreciate how the subtleties of programming, that it's so embroiled, or what's the right word, embedded in our behavior patterns and our perceptions and our beliefs. it really takes a lot of spiritual work and the ability to really step outside of yourself and be the observer to really start to appreciate, the programming in action. So that's a little Joe Dispenza-ism for you to get started. So let's do our meditation card now. Dissertation's over. Meditation card. And for those of you that are new, we had video yesterday. It didn't go viral or anything, but it did get picked up by the algorithm more than most of my videos. So there's probably a few new people on. So this is what we do. We chat. We have a little bit of community chat, and we do divination work and stuff like that. So sort of a Sunday morning thing that we do. And here on the Medium channel, our objective is to help you with your ascension. And we do that through psychic forecasts. We do that for specific topic videos, as well as tutorials on how to do spiritual practices, different spiritual practices, and things of that nature. We do a lot of live streams. So tonight at 7, we have the live stream on the 5 things that you need to know about the 3-3 portal, which is enhanced by the blood moon, the eclipse this year. So anyhow, on that note, with tarot, I learned to always break into 3 piles that can represent the 3 fates or the 3 pillars of the tree of life from the Kabbalah. The right, left, and middle pillars. And then I was taught to work with my left hand because that's the more intuitive side. But sometimes people ask me, well, what if I'm left-handed? I still work with the left hand because it's still the more intuitive side. And guys, if I was left-handed, I'd probably be even more psychic, right? Because so anyhow, let me clear my mind. Okay, they guide me right to this card. Oh, the Justice card. I love it. What a good thing to meditate on. I know it's not the equinox yet, but the Justice, the scales represents the balance, right? And that's my sign. I'm born on the world axis too, 1 degree off the world axis in 1 degree Libra. I was born on Yom Kippur also, which might explain a thing or two. But in any event, and Justice for All, that was a funny movie too, back in, what was that, the 70s or 80s? I think that was in the 80s. So, with all the corruption, this could be, so, okay, let me back up a second. For anybody that's new, I say this every week. So if you're old like me or new, I say this every week. So meditating with tarot, like any other meditation, get present, be with your breath, relax your body, get present and open. And the way I train people in my classes and seminars, especially with mediumship and channeling, because if I'm going to do a reading, I'm not going to sit and go through deep relaxation. But what I can do is relax my shoulders, my chin, and my forehead, and do long, comfortable, deep breathing. And by doing that, the rest of the body automatically relaxes, because it's where we hold most of our attention in these points. And then you can feel a wave of relaxation moving through you. So once that happens, you want to be aware of what you're feeling. And when I say aware, that doesn't mean to ask yourself how you're feeling, because that is a right brain or an intellectual exercise, but rather just be open and be aware of what you're feeling. So you want to be in your sensing mind, in your balanced mind, right? This is the Justice card. True, I shouldn't say true, but effective, like mediumship or channeling or psychic work or healing for that matter. It's not a matter of just going into your right brain. It's a matter of balancing the hemisphere so that your whole brain, but it's the right hemisphere that's connected more with the intuitive and the abstract. So when I get relaxed, I'm whole brain, but I'm just aware, and I'm aware of what I'm feeling without defining it. Then when you step in the card, in your mind, step into the card like you're opening a door, and you step right into the card. It's a whole new world, a whole new reality. The first thing to do is just be aware of what you're feeling and what the subtle differences in. Then maybe what you're seeing, if you're visual, what you're sensing, what you're hearing, tasting, touching, knowing. And this could be, I think the Egyptian goddess Ma'at is associated with justice also. But this could be a spirit guide, a deity, your higher self, source or God. So this could be a spirit guide. So, and beyond the justice, because it's kind of the figures take up the whole card. It's like, okay, what do you have to tell me? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be stuck in this energy. You want to be able to move past it. So it's a little like the Hierophant. The Hierophant stands in between the two pillars, and you have to get through the Hierophant. It's a little bit like the Monty Python Holy Grail, the toll guys, like before you pass this bridge, you must answer these questions 3, or whatever it is. So it's kind of like what messages do we have, and then set the intention to get the messages, and maybe how you can find more balance in your life, and put the prayers out there for fairness and justice, right? Like in my world, I don't care who's guilty when it comes to the Epstein atrocities. Whether I mean, I don't really have any favorite candidates, but if I did, I would be fine if that person was guilty, that they come to justice. So hopefully, we are aligned with that thinking. So whether it's Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever it is, just bring them all the justice, please. Let's clear this so that we can move into the next thing, right? This is the transition energy that we're in. That's why balance is important, and we're coming to the equinox. So it's the balance, like the transition that there's an ascension process that's happening, and part of that is the exposing of the underbelly of the beast, because there's these opposing forces. You could call it good versus evil, dark versus light. It's just a classroom, basically. It's just a process that humanity's undergoing as a collective. So understanding and working with the duality, and that's how you transcend it. So you don't transcend like the devil by trying to like block all your doors or whatever. I mean, sometimes you have to walk with the devil to understand that, right? And that's kind of like similar to what Bruce Lee says. One of his quotes is, walk with the disease, befriend the disease, something to that nature. Be one with it, or be intimate with the disease. That's how you rid yourself of the disease. So it's not through avoidance, it's through understanding, and then you understand the reasons why, basically. So anyways, so that's the meditation card. And Vorti. Good morning, Colleen. Good morning, Dion. If I didn't say earlier, and what else you guys saying? I love Journey. Me too. I don't get onto the meditation a lot, but that doesn't mean I love it any less. All right, be like water. Yeah, so there's another Bruce Lee. I mean, I studied, that's how I got into all this in college, and that's precipitated an awakening in 1978. Also, I got into martial arts, and it's very eclectic. Then it evolved because my teacher met Master Leo Gahe and the Sayaks that were teachers of the Pikiti Tirsia style of Arnis or Eskrima or Kali, take your pick. So I got into the Filipino arts that way, and it's been, for me, we all have our own paths, but for me, it's been essential training, and keeping my body strong. I'm still practicing, because we're coming to the point. I mean, I might be in my 80s when this happens. It could be a little bit sooner, but we're coming to the point where there's going to be a reckoning of humanity between the AI and the interfacing and the way societies seem to be projected to be going, and the ongoing polar excursion that we're really, I think, next solar maximum, we're really going to see the effects of a weaker we're already seeing the effects of a weaker magnetic field around the planet. We were having like X1 flares almost causing total satellite blackout. And these were moderate strong flares. They weren't anything special, and it's just because the magnetic field's weaker, so it's going to be more impactful. So the flip side of that is more light code frequencies, more transmission from spirit or the central sun through the physical sun reaches the earth and reaches consciousness also. So it's like a double-edged sword. It can create chaos and cause humanity to have to, basically live more communally. We in 10, 15 years, we may not have these homes anymore. We may be relying on our communities to survive. So we'll be, as time goes on, because we're not there yet, but as time goes on, we'll be preparing more and more for that, and perhaps we'll even be organizing some off-grid living. Again, we're not there yet. I mean, any day something could happen, obviously, but I think when we come into the around the mid 2030s, that's around the next solar maximum. I think that's when it's just going to be clear that the Earth's changing, the climate's changing, food's not growing where it used to grow, and then the lights go out or the satellites go out on top of it. So it's not doom and gloom. It's just part of our human evolution that we're undergoing right now. So prepare now, then we'll make the transition, and then when that phase is over, humanity will be on a new level, and we won't need the wars. We won't even need money. That may take another 50 to 100 years, but that's where we're going, in my humble opinion. And what do you guys have to say? The sun feels hot. Yeah, the sun's been feeling hot. Well, the sun's the sun is stronger during solar maximums. I mean, the confusing thing is, that means there's more sunspots, and sunspots are actually slightly cooler than the ambient, surface of the sun. If there's not really a surface, but the plasma, the corona, that's like 10 times hotter than the surface of the sun. So that's really where the heat is. And when you start to go closer to solar minimums, you get more coronal holes. So that's a little bit cooler also. Anyway, it's space weather's more of a hobby that I'm studying more and more. I mean, I'm a trained meteorologist, but I'm learning about space weather more in the sun. And and you should either visualize the sun or open your heart when you're in the sun and just absorb that energy, those frequencies, because it's full spectrum light that you're receiving. There's neutrinos you're receiving, although you receive neutrinos even if you're 50 feet underground, you'll still receive the neutrinos. They're that small, but a lot of this light radiation that activates our fields, activates our consciousness and our DNA, and the forces that be, the powers that be, are working with the human collective towards our ascension right now. And part of the ascension is the old archaic ways have to fall. So we talk about the towers falling, this old corrupt world, the systems, all that stuff. It's resonant with the lower vibration of the old earth, not the higher vibration of the new ascended earth that we're going into. So they have to fall. It has to get exposed, and it has to get chaotic. So stay in the heart. I'm going to, the next couple of weeks or two, I'm going to do a new heart brain coherence how-to video, but I have a whole playlist on that. I've been saying since 2020, that's going to be the go-to practice of the 2020s. So far, that hasn't come to pass, but it's still, I mean, there's still 4 years to go, but it's still, for my money, I mean, and there's other practices that do the same thing. It's really about, opening the frequency of the heart and blending the heart and the brain. And when you do that, you blend with source and spirit. So there's yoga techniques. There's all kinds of techniques to do that. But heart brain coherence is a very easy and straightforward practice that we should all be doing, in my opinion. So anyhow, besides that, it's anti-aging. It helps preserve the telomeres. It releases telomerase in the body, according to Heart Math Institute, Joe Dispenza and others. I think Ray Graydon too. And that's one of the two principal ways that we age. The telomeres get shorter when the cells divide. And then when they're gone, so are we. Science thinks that humans can live past 120 because of the chromosomal degradation that happened, but people have lived longer than that. And if you can catch any of them on an interview, even people that are 110, youngins of 110, they'll tell you, I live simply. I live with compassion. I live from my heart. And I'll tell you, it makes all the difference. It changes the hormonal balance in your body. So you can look at it as sheer chemistry, as biology, and hormonal releases, and all so forth. It's a brilliant practice. So let's do our 3-card spread now that we're half hour in. And what do you guys say? Telomeres stop growing. Yeah, but the thing is, they shrink actually when the cells divide. But the telomerase helps to slow down that process. So you release more telomerase in the body that helps protect the telomeres. So Epstein is like a pyramid scheme. Good, that's a nice analogy. I get that. I have no intent to live that long. It's been all right. Well, okay, yeah, if that's true, just say that's true. We'll talk about the quality of life while we're here, basically. Like I do all this healthy stuff. I exercise, I take care of my body, I meditate, I take care of myself. But truth is, I could get hit by a car tomorrow, or I could get cancer. Knock on wood, I won't, because I'm doing a lot not to. Point being is that you can do all the right things. It doesn't guarantee you're going to live longer. So maybe focus on the quality of life while you're here. And if you're in the heart, trust me, your quality of life is going to be 1,000 times better than if you're not, because then you get pulled into all this chaos and drama that's going on. All right, what else? Absolutely, it's quality over quantity. Absolutely. And you don't have to get decrepit when you get old. I remember like year 2000, when they brought all the centurions out. There's a Native American man. He was 106 years old. 106. No walker, no gray hair, and perky. And it's like, you don't have to get decrepit. Bodies will age, but aging's a program. And a lot of times people ask me, why do you look young? I mean, I think I look kind of my age, but a lot of people will say, you look very young for 67. And I'm very matter of fact. I don't fear growing old. And that's the secret. It's simplicity. Everything is very simple. Why is that the key? Because I'm not thinking about age. That's the mind. I'm not having fear. That's the feeling. That's the heart. When you blend the heart and the brain on an intention, you manifest it. So if I'm worried about growing old and I'm feeling the worry and I'm seeing age, I'm going to manifest that age, and I'm going to buy into that program that when you age, you get sick, you get decrepit, you can't do what you can anymore. I can still hike any of these mountains here. And I need to get into better shape so that I can hike 2 or 3 of them in a day. And one time on my 57th birthday, I hiked to the top of Peekamoose. And you guys at the Catskills know that that's a tough hike if you've hiked that. It's the trailhead starts at under 1,000 feet. And it goes up to almost 4,000 feet. And then there's an old gentleman on the top. And I said, and I told them, I asked him, it's like, I have to ask you how old you are. And he's very proud to say, I'm 84. And then he said, excuse me, because we're going to go to the next peak while we have time and then come back. And it's like, I was 57. I barely made it to the top of that thing. So, it's mind over matter, right? I've healed so much with my mind, and what you feed the head, number one, what you feed the belly, number two. Then, of course, we have genetics and pathogens obviously play in, but our emotional patterns are even stronger, as measures of health in some cases anyway. So back to 3-card spread. This is what we do on Tarot Time. Adam goes off on this tangent, and a lot of times it's catalyzed by your comments. I'm looking at your comments. You do look young, Mary. You absolutely do. So keep up the good work. Kind of attitude and energy. Well, exactly the point, right? So good. Keep up the good work. Yeah, we only have 2 4,000 footers in the Catskills, but in the Adirondacks there's the 4,000 Club. I haven't been up there for a while. I've hiked Haystack, Marcy, one other. I did Haystack and Marcy in one day, but I was only around 50 then. I could do it now. I think I'm stronger now than I was. I'm healthier. That I can tell you for sure. I can't remember. I know I hiked another 4,000 peak. Oh, Wolf Jaw, of course, Wolf Jaw, lower Wolf Jaw. I think I did another one too. The Marcy's, that's the high peak. I forgot the elevation, but Marcy's, I think 5,200 feet. Which, if you're from the Rockies, it doesn't sound like a lot. It's like you have to dig a 600-foot hole from Denver to get to that elevation. But these trailheads started at 1,000 feet or under, and there's a lot of rock scrambles, especially when you get close to the top. It's tough hiking in the Adirondacks. All right, so 3-card spread as promised yesterday. I'm actually getting warm. So we are going to do a transmission for peace in a bit. So I'm going to do this, so let me know what I said, what I pick up on. I've got a couple of other divination tools, and then when we hit around the hour, then I'll start it. I'll start the transmission. So Queen of Cups, I like it. All right, so these aren't bad cards. I feel like I need to pull another one though, because I was talking. Although when the idea is not to think, so if I'm talking, then my hand is still being guided by spirit. Yeah, one more. All right, so I'm gonna put this 4th one up here also. So these are much lighter cards than what we pulled last Sunday. So that's the good news. I think this troubles, the main troubles happened already. The wars broken out. It could, this card to Wheel of Fortune, or I'll just hold this one. Could what we may be finding for what's being shown is that there may be, after the initial aggression, it feels like there'll be some talk. I don't think the war is just going to end, to be clear about that. But this is about the children. I just got what this is about. I think an important, like the Epstein case. These. Queen of Cups, 6 of Cups, 2 of Wands, a rod reversed, 7 of Pentacles reversed, and then I pulled the Wheel of Fortune, turning of the wheel. I think we're gonna. I hate to say any names, but I'm seeing Melania Trump in the Queen of Cups. I don't know what you guys are seeing in that. It could be somebody else. There's plenty of light-haired women that could conceivably be involved behind the scenes with things like that. So let's not jump to any conclusions without proof. But I think what we start to catch wind of is an important female player other than Ghislaine Maxwell. The 2 of Wands reversed with the World upside down. I think any negotiations at this point would fail anyway. So I think, after the initial strikes, there may be a little bit of a cooling off. It just seems like it's just the beginning of a process. And, there's Pentacles could be money. There's money, there's gain of power, all that stuff around wars and things like that. Oil. Oh yeah, oil makes sense because we're going to see gas prices rise if this war goes on. And I forgot the name of the strait. You guys, I know one of you knows the name of that strait where about 20% of the oil flows through, like Middle Eastern oil goes through that. If there's a war in Iran, that's going to get shut down. There's not going to be a heck of a lot of oil flowing there. Plus, I think maybe not this week, but I think Colombia, it might be next on the, we'll say, alleged cartel wars. But there's always other reasons behind that. don't know, was the Ayatollah taken, or did they capture anyone? Yeah, I have to catch up on things. If not, that might be happening also, or some very high-ranking Iranian official might be happening. So I want to see what you guys are saying. Oh, stress would do that, yeah. My hair started to go gray in my 40s, yeah, mid 40s. Then it actually started to get darker again in my 50s. And now it's about half gray now, but I'm 67. But it's interesting. It was going gray, and then it kind of, to some degree, repigmented, but I eliminated a lot of stress from my life also. So yeah, the hormones will definitely do that. So the widow, light-haired woman, interesting. Khamenei was allegedly killed during. Oh, okay, thanks for sharing that. Um, it was confirmed that Ayatollah was killed. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, in in biohacking, we have peptides. People say reverse the gray. It's possible. I'm living proof. It's possible. Yeah. What else? How to move? How to move? Thank you. Yeah. Hello, Sandina. Welcome. There were a couple of mass shootings last night. Yeah, that's been. I mean, it's sometimes I'm saying this is my psychic forecast, but it's like a lot of what I forecast and predict. You don't really need to be psychic to predict. It's like violence is going to increase. Well, obviously, right? But it's interesting if it comes from spirit or shows in the astrology, which it shows very clearly. Like if you know how to really read charts and understand it, and I have to learn a little bit more about the Vedic system, but I think both the Vedic and the tropical Western are both useful tools, because tropical Western takes into account the seasons, um, like the equinoxes and the solstices are the points where you measure the signs from. Then it's 30 degrees rather than the constellations. That's the Vedic astrology. Um, so all this activity on the world axis, a lot of things going into the sign Cancer. When Uranus is still in Taurus, but I think near the end of the month it goes into Gemini for good, or maybe next month, right around April 4th. That's going to be a really intense time, right around April the 4th. We could have some significant solar flaring, some big earthquake, volcano stuff. But that's a little bit farther along the road. So this could also be showing, you guys that are invested in the metals, what happens when there's uncertainty, like there's a war going on. Metals tend to go up, right? Because people deem that as more stable. Cryptos usually suffer. I think, I kind of predicted, cryptos would be up and down, but may go up later in the month. So maybe when we get a handle on it, mostly XRP, Ripple. I think Bitcoin and the others will have their day later on. But one of the predictions was from for March was that we'd see $100 silver again. And when I checked last night, it was about 92. So we're on our way. We'll see what happens Monday when markets open again, and people know about the war. It might spike up. They're showing me 112. We'll see if it reaches 112. We were at 120 before it crashed. The thing with the metal market is gold is very dependent on the value of the dollar, because gold is the standard. Well, it should be the standard. I mean, I think we're transitioning out of the fiat system slowly but surely anyway. But the point being is that gold is like the standard of wealth. Like it has a certain value. So if the dollar goes down, gold goes up. If the dollar goes up, gold goes down. Very generally speaking, there's other factors at play, but silver has a component of industrial use also. If there's a war, more silver gets used. As the technology builds, more silver gets used. Now, I was saying in one of my recent forecasts, you might also, and I'm talking about physical metals, by the way. You're not these pieces of paper. Like you own it. No, you don't. You own a piece of paper. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate your donations. Love you guys. So anyway, where was I? Yeah. Because as we hit critical silver shortages, copper alloys are going to start to be relied on for technology because they're very conductible. Also, maybe not to the degree that silver is, but owning physical copper, you need a warehouse because it's priced by the ton, I believe. So in that case, you can invest in copper mining company. There's other ways to do that. That might be the wave of the future. Investment isn't that complicated. Well, it is for me because I don't know a thing about it, but the principles aren't complicated. What's going to be big in 2 years? Invest in it now. Like if you want to start a business, understand the trend, whatever your industry is, what's going to be hot in 2 years, start doing it now. That way you are here when the wave hits rather than constantly chasing that wave as most people do. So that's and Michael really helps us out with this aspect. I mean, cryptos are very good speculation. Precious metals are well savings. That's a good point. They will not bankrupt or default. Gold is tier 1 asset. Metals have zero counterpart risk. So thank you for sharing that also. And what does Colleen have to say? I was told I could use HRT because my mother's. Sorry about your mom. There was only 56. And I think you're talking about different healing modalities or peptides, I think. And Betsy's saying that announcing all of the news channels that Iran confirmed it tonight. They were at war, I think, is what you're saying, right? And it's important to stay in your truth. Yeah. And thank you, Raymond. Good call there. Makes sense, right? And was the idol truly killed? Yes, my first impression is captured. That's my first impression. I don't know. That's my first impression. I do believe Epstein was killed. I did a little bit of channeling, remote viewing, and it was in my forecast. If you didn't see I did the abridged version, the 20-minute version of the March forecast for those that don't want to sit through an hour and a half live stream, and talked about that was one of the messages that I got was that Epstein didn't, a lot of people believe he's still alive. I could be wrong, but that's not what I got. I got that he was killed, but he didn't commit suicide, that he was silenced basically. And I think he thought that his bosses were going to rescue him because the Epstein files is the tip of the iceberg of corruption. Epstein didn't run it. The globalists ran it in my view. And it's all tied in with the president, the royal family, the Vatican, Israel, especially Israel. Now you got to look at the whole dynamic of things, and there's probably other reasons, but there's a lot of heat to release more of the files. People are questioning why are some certain FBI interviews with alleged victims of Donald Trump, and it's alleged, to be clear, why did they disappear? There's so many inconsistencies, and why aren't people being brought to justice? There's not, it doesn't constitute evidence, but you have to also remember, as far as the Americas go, that the DOJ is Republican. And they're Trump loyalists. They're gonna do their best to hold back any evidence that might incriminate him because they work for him, right? So, why? There's enough evidence. No proof. You might disagree, but until it's clear, it's still speculative to some degree. But there's enough supporting evidence that in a civilized world, there would be a nonpartisan, what's the right word, inquiry or investigation why is there not a nonpartisan investigation on the Epstein list? If anybody has an answer, let me know. Because the only thing that I can think of is that there's people that know what's going on and want to protect certain people. That would be my conclusion. I could be wrong, but that would be my conclusion. So but the Wheel of Fortune does show the wheel is going to turn, and I don't think this is going to be a really long war, or there might be stages of it. But the interesting thing, somebody was mentioning about the military being, the biggest users of silver in 2022, and that was like at the very beginning of solar maximum, or in the ascending phase. That's when Russia and Ukraine went to war again. I think it was 2022. And Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and they were commissioned to supply weapons for a long war. How did they know it would be a long war? I get it, because our heads of state just have so much insight, and they understand the dynamics of the world so much that they knew it. Either that or they planned it. So one or the other, right? Either that or they planned it. So what else are you guys saying? So something about Barbara Bush, Mrs. Barbara. All right. Yes, Millie. I want to see what welcome Lasandra. Is he run by me about revenge, or just? It could be both. It could be something else. Revenge. I don't know. Let's remember who was disposed of this week. I did hear people were sending tons of pizza pie to that building, make a statement. Say, look at the Queen Bee, Barbara Bush. Interesting. That could be the one we talked about somebody that was like a president's wife or leader's wife being involved. It could be Barbara. Absolutely. Oh, thank you again, Ruji. I appreciate you so much. Tough to come by, but there are. That could happen. But in this current time and current climate, I get your point. It's a lot easier said than done, right? So I get that. Yeah, and it's been going on thousands of years. Yeah, you could trace things back to Roman times, to early Christianity, to the Templars. You can trace this back for a while. Iran said they were interfering in the election to prevent Trump from getting elected. Interesting. That's something I haven't heard yet, and that could be why there might be retribution. I get your point there. All right, and I say this isn't quiet. Expect them to be talking again. Okay, Assange. All right. All right, so I'm missing part of your conversation, but that's interesting. I don't know if that's still Barbara Bush or who we're talking about, or she's still alive. I can't even keep track of this stuff. Let's do a couple more divination cards and see if we get a little more information going here. Yeah, I think I bought my Native American deck. Yeah, let me pull a card from here also. We'll do one or two more and grab some water. Oh, this blood moon is such a catalyst, and we're feeling it now. So this afternoon, I'm planning on cutting my hair and preparing my notes, because at 7 we're going to do a 5 things that you need to know about the 3/3 full moon eclipse portal, the blood moon portal that we're in. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big spike in volcanic activity. In fact, it's already happening. Stefan Burns was saying that he thinks that Kilauea is going to have its next eruption during the blood moon, because it's right in the center point of the intervals of the Kilauea eruptions. Now, my forecast, I told people that I think activity in Hawaii when it comes to volcanism and maybe even seismic activity was going to ramp up a lot in March. So see if we get a much bigger eruption, or if there's a Mauna Loa eruption, or something a little bit more than what we've been seeing from Kilauea lately. Oh, son, okay. Yeah, every time he turns around and yeah, you know, connecting the dots. You know, we got to do that, connect the dots, right? And from my view, artists will never see the truth, right? I can't even see anything because they are, even in their shows, their energy. Yeah, I have to catch up on this last video. Oh no, I watched his last live stream I watched, so I did see that. You know, what we have found is learned, and just the camera, he ran and was silent, now curious, hope he is safe as all others who have survived such ways of life. Yeah. Uh-huh. Stay in your course, folks. Absolutely. Happy full moon. Yes. Our wish is so evil. So maybe it's not Melania. Maybe she's the female, right? I mean, I think she, you know, well, I think she has white hair now, right? But I think she has lighter hair. All right, so on Tuesday we'll do a powerful transmission for the blood moon and the eclipse portal, the 3/3 portal, and I think a week from Wednesday is the next psychic night on the medium channel. Then somewhere around the equinox will be our next mediumship night. Last psychic night went well, even though it's confusing for me. It still went well. Yeah, there's a lot in hiding. UFO, yeah, absolutely. UFOs, yeah, that keeps building up. Absolutely, yeah. In fact, one of my predictions. Well, you guys know, either you saw it or you heard me patting myself on the back about it, one or the other, that I predicted the presidential announcement of UFOs for February. So I got the month even right with that, and you could take it with a grain of salt somewhat, because all he said basically is that we're going to disclose classified files when it comes to ETs, UFOs, or stuff like that. But it's still an announcement, and I think that's going to carry into something else. It might be another world leader or the UN or somebody talking about UFOs and investigations. I mean, some people think it's the lead into Project Bluebeam, but I think that there's some genuine information that's going to be coming out. But I think we're going to really start to see that more towards the end of the year in 2027, as far as like actual proof of it. Could be sooner. Anyway, let me clear my mind. So this is the Judgment card, and in the Native American deck, there's a tree. There's I mean, sometimes the symbolism means a lot also with this, but Judgment is key 20. 20 is the awakening in that's a symbol in Chaldean numerology. So one of the meanings of the Judgment card in tarot is awakening, it's renewal. This could say that that some judgments are going to be made, so we may see some accusations, like people actually being accused, not just alleged. I mean, it's alleged till they're proven guilty, but I think this is saying that there's going to be some decisions made. They may not be easy ones. I mean, as far as like things like war and strife, we may not like it, but I think also it's an awakening. I think a lot of people, it's opening people's eyes, and if Trump is involved, as all the circumstantial evidence that I'm seeing would point in that direction, then I think even if he can't be tried or can't be accused of anything because the DOJ are loyalists to Trump, people will know. The more people that wake up and see what's going, the more it's going to change the political climate. And and I think people are really starting to see through things. Now there's the other side of the argument where what if he's causing all this disruption just to expose more of the underbelly of the beast and free hostages and free people from that area? So we have to look at both sides of that potential or possibility. Okay, I'm done looking at that side, but anyway, to be fair, right? Until you know, you don't know for sure. And I think the judgment card is saying that a lot of people are waking up and starting to understand the truth. So I think more evidence comes out, more fingers get pointed, and the idea is if we can get past the Epstein files and look at what's really behind that, I think that's going to be really revealing at the end. So yeah. So I was saying I fell back on we sign up for this week. Yeah, we signed up. We knew it's going to be rough, right? And next, if I'm tired today, next Sunday is when the clocks go forward. So it'll be for all intents and purposes 10 a.m. mindset. They are in a different frequency, and if you draw an impatient, unloving gratitude, an impatient, unloving feeling to see them, that shall be the best way. As I've seen so many That's good. Yeah, staying open, right? I think that's the gist of what you're saying. All right. Hi, Nurse Al. Hello, beautiful one. And I don't feel we are stuck here. I think we chose to be here, right? That's what I think. The dark elites are planning a false flag event, including concerning alien. Yeah. So be aware, right? Be aware of that potential. Yeah, and we've been here for a while, doing a lot of spiritual work, a lot of training, a lot of transmissions, which we're going to do another one in a minute. Most of us here will be able to ferret out any false flags around that versus anything that's genuine. Yeah, there's markers, there's ways of knowing. Basically, I'll put it that way. Yes, we spring forward on 3-8. Yep. Yeah. And Jan's also saying lots of people, including ancient Gnostics, say we live on a prison planet where entities feed off our emotions. I see more as a classroom, but I appreciate that perspective also. And the more I know, I realize I still don't know, is that's just the more you know, the less you know, right? Just the way it is. Full resonance is acceptance is needed for us to integrate it, to keep the light one heart. Yeah, I see more as a classroom, because at the end of the day, just like in the Native American traditions, that the coyote, the trickster, winds up being the best teacher. I think at the end of humanity's cycle, Lucifer winds up being our best teacher, because we evolve past that and we evolve into our next level. So it's really just a reflection of our collective. So how you see it, right? We all have different vantage points of what's really going on in the world, and with the classroom versus prison planet and all that stuff. It's all basically how we see it, and it doesn't make me right and you wrong, or vice versa. It's just a different way of seeing it. Yeah, only death will tell. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for being here. 11 p.m. Yeah, so catch that on Nuestra Tabula Rasa with Millie and Victor of Truth Wave and a couple of other people. So what time? It's time to do a transmission. We've been an hour. We started late. I've limited battery power, and apparently I also have limited video power. So let me see if I can fix that. You know what I can do? Oh God, let me just see. Not now. All right, hang in there, guys. Let's see. All right, the other one's not going to work. So here we go. Backup is the device camera. for 2021 computer that has a 2011 camera, the specs of the Air Max back then. Yeah, but you don't need to see me. So the idea now is let's just get nice and relaxed. Let's clear our minds. And know being in the heart, being in the eye of the storm. So when I do that I refer to as the have a drink, that I call the master teachers, because that's something that I trained with or work with, I should say. Susie Mazzoli, she channeled this group, and it's energetic. So, and she gave it the name. She called them the master teachers. And when they work with me and work together, because I'm guiding a meditation or process, then they're able to access your fields and help to raise the frequencies. With your higher self, of course, help to raise your or the frequencies and the velocities of energies that flow through you. And a higher frequency tend to activate, higher gifts and higher DNA. I mean, at the end of the day, see if I what happens. Nothing. Oh, good. Okay. So anyway, so let's get nice and relaxed. And as I was saying before, just take a moment. We'll take a couple of long, deep breaths to get started. Inhaling love and light, exhaling and releasing anything you don't need, the stress of the world. Inhaling love, light, joy, high vibrations. I'm releasing the stress of the world, other people's energies we don't need. And just start to let your breathing become nice and relaxed, feeling your shoulders relaxed, chin and cheeks relaxing, and then forehead relaxing. And you can allow your scalp to relax and just let relaxation just wash all over you. We'll step aside. When I channel, I'm a conscious channel, so it's sort of a blending that happens rather than them talking through me. They're kind of working with me, if that makes sense. So anyhow, let me just step out. Greetings, dear ones, and sometimes your toughest times and challenges are your greatest opportunities. This is where those of you that are in your heart, in your power, doing your soul work, this is your time to shine and to stand out like the beautiful diamonds in the sky, the stars. You are one of those stars. You are one of those points of light. Which star are you from? Perhaps you know, perhaps you don't. But you all embody the essence, energy, and the messages of the diamonds in the sky. So imagine in your heart chakra, a beautiful star, a beautiful diamond is shining through you and around you, out in all directions. Allow that star, that diamond, to be an emerald diamond, filled with love, healing, filled with peace. And this is about empowerment. Diamonds is your hardest substance, your most resilient substance. Yet at the same time, it's opulence, it's wealth, and it's healing. It's carbon crystal, it's healing energy, it's uplifting. In several of your outer planets and outer moons, it rains diamonds under intense pressure and temperatures. Imagine if it was raining diamonds, wee-hee, we'd all be rich, ha ha ha. But you are rich, you are wealthy, you are abundance. And your energy does matter, your intention does matter, your love does matter. You may not see it, but it does matter. If you're going to work with you to bring the heart to more empowerment, more expansion, and of course, coherence, utilizing beautiful green diamond filled with love, gratitude, appreciation, expanding through your chest, through your body, through your chakras. You become a big diamond, beautiful green emerald diamond heart chakra, expanding through your auric fields, connecting with the cosmos, connecting with the balance. We'll do some toning, relax, breathe. This is one of the ways we assist you in raising the frequencies. Sarure Bahamo Siwai Yanio Soyo no no ya no ya no mani ni chi no na na ma he ya yo. And imagine beings of light are all around you. We, the master teachers, are with you. Your interdimensional, your ascended beings, masters, star beings are working with you and around you. Imagine, visualize they are with you, working with you in the vibration of love and joy and peace. Peace is an energy. Conflict is an energy. There's a portal, as it were, as your solar system passes through certain points of space. Some are higher vibrations, some are lower vibrations, some have different forms, aligning with more celestial energies like your full moon, blood eclipse, and so forth. This is a time to let it all out. This is part of the reason that aggression is off the charts and is growing. So we ask you at this time, if you're angry, pissed off, or whatever, don't hold it in. Maybe yell, but release it. Don't hold it. Expression without holding on, as it were. It's for processing process. You are giant processors in your own right. You take certain energetic frequencies, they become experiences in your own life. You process them and you raise the frequencies. Haha, you are the master teachers too then. You are raising the frequencies, allowing yourself to process the experiences, the energies. The energies create the experiences. Your relationship with that energy creates those experiences. And then many of your brothers and sisters will blame somebody else for that. But it's a choice, not a conscious choice, a soul choice. But if it can be a conscious choice, the secret is being conscious of who you are, a soul. So imagine your heart chakra, your beautiful diamond green heart chakra, blending with the chakras above your crown, your soul star chakra, embracing your soul message in resonance with the heart. And imagine and visualize men and women laying down their arms, hugging instead of fighting, coming to the table, negotiating, talking it out. And to your beautiful, bright diamond hearts and diamond auras, become the beacons of peace and just feel and put the prayers out there. The conflicts get resolved in as efficient and pain-free manner as possible, recognizing that certain processes do have to happen. It's only negative because of the suffering around it, but from a soul perspective, it's not negative, it just is. It's just part of the ascension process of your species. The more ascended you are, the more you're assisting your brothers and sisters. So just hold the vibration of peace. Put the prayers out there for peace. Dear Mother, Father, God, great source divine. We work together in our circle of love and light, help raise the vibration of the planet, help heal those that need healing, help to reach those heads of state, those that are the decision makers of your world, to replace stress, anxiety, and power over others and the old regime, the old paradigm, with the vibration of love. And just hold that for a moment or two. May all beings be happy and free, and in the vibration of love and light. We are the master teacher. We are complete. So just start to let the energies ground. Feel your roots going through the floor and into the earth. We all have auric fields. They're like luminous eggs around us at the base of yours. Just imagine its tailpipe opens to release any static ear stuck energies or excess energies from this transmission. Just let the earth, just let it flow easily into the earth. Take a few deep breaths, open your eyes. And for those of you that want to do this, we'll do different things at 7 o'clock for the psychic forecast and the energy update for this very powerful portal, 3-3 portal, blood moon. And I was tempted before I started to get a recording of Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Of course, the Peter, Paul, and Mary version of that song. Then I think, if I do that, I'll get a copyright strike, so I better not. But what a brilliant anti-war song, because it just takes you full circle. If you know that song, you know what I'm talking about. Where have all the flowers gone? All right, guys. Thanks for sticking this out. Love you all. All right. Yeah. Daniel is a connection to Mary. Is a soul connection to her. So that's what she's saying. Oh, thank you, Michael. See you tonight also then. And love you guys. All right. So we are going to end. Good day.